Alrighty, so we're going to just start sitting down. If you get yourself either a blanket underneath your bottom, or if you prefer to straddle a bolster, please do that. Just making sure that your sitting bones are lifted and that you've got a nice even base. So sitting bones lifted, pubic bones slightly tilted forward. We just want to make sure that we're not tucked under like that, but instead can create a nice long spine. And I'll get you just to take the fleshy bits out from underneath your sitting bones and roll your shoulders and maybe roll your head, and then placing the head on top of the neck. And we're just going to take a couple of minutes to settle into the practice, settle into today, and just kind of welcome ourselves onto the mat. So just finding that stillness, that peace, before we proceed into moving and releasing tension and strengthening. So take some big full breaths. It doesn't matter about the Ujjayi breath. Just take some big full bear breaths and fill your lungs, and then sigh the breath out. And then just take a moment as you're breathing to look around yourself. Look around the room. Look at the objects in the room and the ceiling and the walls and the floor. And just get a sense of your body in this space at this moment in time. So mindfulness is simply being very aware of this present moment and being fully engaged with this present moment. So allowing the mind to be here in the now instead of thinking about things in the future or being tugged into thoughts about what's happened in the past. So in order to do that, it's nice just to kind of anchor yourself in this present space, and then start to settle into the feeling of your breath within your body. So taking the mind just underneath the skin surface of the body, and just feeling as you take your mind around the body, feeling how you are today in this moment, and just noticing the quality of your mind. You know, is it a bit dull and fuggy this morning, or are you feeling quite sharp and alert? Are you feeling a bit overwhelmed, like there's an awful lot to do and you're just feeling scattered? Or, you know, what is the quality of the mind? Remember, we aren't the mind. These are electrical impulses that are going on in the mind, but these thoughts are not who we are. So observing the mind, and then just observing the physical body and roaming around the physical body and just noticing where you are feeling. It's like a shadow or a bruise sort of feeling, where you might be holding tension, or where maybe you're feeling just a little bit grotty, a little bit out of sorts in the body. But then also noticing where in the body you feel fine, or things feel just like they're operating well. And you just kind of roam your mind's eye around the body. That's it. And then start to transition into the Ujjayi breath. So that's the slight constriction on the back of the throat when the chin is drawn in. We've got a nice loose jaw, and we're drawing the breath in and out through the back of the nostrils. If it's not possible to draw the breath out of the nostrils, just breathing out through the mouth. So we want to focus mainly on the in breath through the nostrils. And we're aiming to send the breath down to the bottom of the lungs and then out underneath the armpits. So we really use the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm fully. And then as we exhale, the base of the ribcage comes slightly in and the breath just slowly pours out of us. So we get this kind of rhythmic ebb and flow of the breath. It's almost like you're opening up a big accordion as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, that accordion is pressed shut, the breath pressed out of you. And if you can imagine that almost smile-like movement of the diaphragm down and out into these muscles underneath the armpits, and releasing the breath smoothly. We've got most of our lung capacity in the back of the lungs, so make sure that you send the breath into the back of the lungs as well. And we come into this slow, stretched Ujjayi breath. It really is the number one thing we can do to de-stress. It regulates the blood pressure, it calms the mind, it gives the mind something to focus on, and it sends a fantastic oxygen exchange around the body, so it feeds into our muscles as well. So let's take a few more full deep breaths here. As you inhale, feel like the light of the breath is coming up through your spine, and as you exhale, send it back down, diffusing through the body. So on that exhale, you feel as if you are starting to melt inside from the crown, relaxation flowing down through the body. Start to make your breath fuller, deeper, stronger, lifting right up through the crown and down again. It's almost like there's a fountain going up through the center. The exhale pours down, releasing, releasing, releasing down into the ground. Energy, breath up through the center, through the spine, flowing that energy down. Okay. And just taking a moment to thank yourself and just life for giving you the opportunity to come and just practice, giving yourself this hour and a bit to practice this morning, being in this moment in time and moving into that stillness. And then just taking the hands out to the side and turn the palms to face the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, feel as if you're pulling energy right up through the crown, up towards the ceiling. Hold it there, then go. Very good. Take your fingertips onto your shoulders like this. Take big rolls backwards with your elbows. Start to massage into those shoulder joints, into the rotator muscles around the shoulders. Oh, just noticing how are your shoulders feeling today? How's the neck feeling? Has this week been a challenging week? Has it been a pretty average, normal week? Have you done different things this week? Just noticing what you have accumulated in this area of the body and feel as if you are unwinding it. And then pull those elbows right back and then squeeze them together and drop your head. And then pull the elbows right back and squeeze them. So keep going with that movement, pulling back, squeezing, pulling back and squeezing forward. That's it. Big, exaggerated movements. Start to work all the way down through your spine. Now with the movement right into the pelvis. That's the way. Exhaling. Take your right hand onto the ground, left hand up, drop the shoulder. And then breathe in and stretch fingertips up towards the ceiling and just give yourself a gentle lateral stretch. Introducing your first lateral stretch, waking up the spine and looking up towards the ceiling and then down. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling that lovely opening stretch down the side of the body. That's it. On an exhale, draw yourself up and over to the other side. Drop the shoulder. And again, breathing deeply underneath the armpit to spread those ribs. Get those intercostal muscles between the ribs really working. Good. And then back again. Gentle twist. Oh, rinsing out the spine. Breathe in, lift up through the crown. Exhale to the other side. Breathing in and rinsing out. And breathing in and rinsing. Coming into the center, drop the head, start to roll the head around. This is one of my favorite things to do, just to release tension around the neck, and then let your shoulders join in a swirly release. Twirling and swirling. Massaging into the upper back. So this is where we have these oxytocin receptors. That's why we respond so well to hugs. So feel like you're just massaging into your own upper back and neck area. And then pause and then the other direction. So start with the head and then let those shoulders join in the unwind, the release, the roll. Ooh, very good. And then taking those legs out in front of you, let's just wake up the feet. So big circles with those ankles. You can mobilize your wrists as well, actually, at the same time. Big circles. Getting a few clicks there. And the other direction, mobilize, moisturize. This motion is lotion. And then pull back your toes, pull back your fingers, press out through the heels and press out through the palms. And then squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then open and pull back with your fingers and pull back with your toes. And then squeeze. Good. And then just take your feet on the ground, knees nice and wide, and just window wipe your knees from side to side. So we get up into those rotator muscles around the hip joints. And then pause here, squeeze inwards. So you're doing that adduction here just for a moment. That's it. And then up and over to the other side. Beautiful. And coming on to hands and knees. So take that blanket out of the way. Now, for today's practice, we are going to need some pillows for the end. I didn't say before, sorry. And also a brick. So either a brick or a big dictionary or something like that would be good. So try and make sure that at some point you go and get those bits and pieces and then come back. Hands nice and wide now. Make sure your phalanges are stretched out and you're kind of pouring at the ground to start off with, and turn your hands so you get a stretch through the back of those wrists. Massage, release into those wrists. We're going to put a bit of weight through these wrists. So we want to make sure that they have woken up. That's the way. And then let's just take these feet off the ground as well. Do another little twirl with the feet. Take the knees together and just swish your tail from side to side. So like a fish, kind of swish, swish, waking up the side waist. Swish, swish, swish. And then feet back on, knees hip width apart. Start off on your tabletop. So imagine you have got a ruler, a long ruler out from the crown of your head all the way down your spine, and it's sticking straight out. Your tail is sticking straight out behind you. So pause here. The base of the rib cage is drawing in slightly. Your extensor muscles of your back are switched on. You've got a bit of weight here through the arms. Pause here. Get your breath nice and rhythmic and smooth, energizing. And then start to let the breath lead your movement. So as you inhale, lift your tail. And as you exhale, tuck your tail under. Imagine you have a magnificent big tail. I like to imagine mine is like a snow leopard tail. So it's a big bushy tail that I lift up and then I tuck under to have a look at. There it is, lovely. Looking up with the tail, tucking it under. And as you breathe in more deeply, let the movement ripple through your spine. Exhaling, taking the movement right up through to the shoulders, to the crown of the head, cat and cow. Majariasana, just a lovely way to wake up your spine in the morning. And getting the breath pressed out of the lungs, pulled into the lungs. I like to do a little kind of shake from side to side as I go up and down as well. A pulse. Don't know if you can see that, but I'm just kind of shuffling my bottom from side to side. Lovely. Next time you take your tail up behind you, start to swirl it in a circle. So we're starting to do the first of our circles with the pelvis. This is just a wonderful action for women to do. It helps, especially if you're feeling a little bit periody, a little bit grotty in the lower part of the pelvis and your lower back. It helps to get good vascular flow around those pelvic organs, good blood flow, get the nutrients flowing. And just making sure everything doesn't get stuck and congested. So good for constipation as well. And the other direction, circling. This time, let's get our shoulders kind of circling as well. Bend those elbows. Nice bit of swirly burly movement this morning. Good. And then knees apart, toes together. Stretch your fingertips out in front of you. Create a nice long line through your spine, shoulders rolling away from ears, stretch right up underneath the armpits, right up through to your tail. Tuck your chin in and take some deep, full breaths where you really feel the breath coming into the back of your lungs. Maybe sighing the breath out of a loose jaw. There we go. And then take your tail up towards the sky, dip your chest down, and either arms out in front, or if that feels too much stretch on your shoulders, bend your elbows and do this version. So either elbows out to the side, hands together, or arms in front. We're looking to get the stretch right here, bra strap level, squeezy thoracic stretch, like a puppy dog, just kind of stretching in the morning. Very good. Big, smooth breath out. And then coming back onto hands and knees, wide hands now, knees together. Start to circle the pelvis around in like you are a pebble that has dropped into a still lake, and the ripples are starting small and then getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So now we're starting to go down the side of the hips, into the buttocks, and right into that lower back. As we come forward, we start to open up into the psoas muscles, the hip flexors. So just a nice other movement to wake up the pelvis. Again, just noticing constantly, how's the body feeling this morning? Where are you feeling it catching? We want to constantly move to what our body needs. So be very, very mindful through this practice to do what your body needs. If some postures just don't feel good, don't do them. Come back a little bit. If things feel delicious, you want to do more of them, do more of them. You can always catch up. And then other direction. If you feel like you need to rest at any time, please do. Just come down into a child pose, or extended child pose maybe, or lie down on your back, rest for a bit, and then rejoin when you feel like you want to. Big, lubricating circles. That's the way. Good. So coming back onto hands and knees, give your wrists a little shake. Stretch your fingertips out again so you've got nice wide bases through your hands. We like wide hands, wide feet. Tuck those toes. Lift your tail behind you. And then as you exhale, start to feel as if your tail is being pulled back, 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 and up. Stretching the spine to start off with. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Keep the knees bent until you can't go any higher with your tail. And then start to press those heels down one at a time, waking up those calf muscles, and have a little dance over your feet. So massage your feet by rolling right across the feet. See if you can stretch your toes out. If your ankles are feeling a little bit tight, then do some kind of dancey movements, wake them up, press your toes, keep rolling shoulders away from ears so you're not putting pressure through the shoulders. You feel as if someone's behind you, pulling your tail back and up. And then give your head a shake. Whoa. Let your jaw be loose and do a kind of horse neigh out like this. Let it all go. And then we're going to just drop down onto our knees. Take your left foot forward. Now, if you've got your brick close by, you might have it near you, so you can just hold on to it for some height. Let's just kind of roll back and forward to start off with, to open up into the hip flexors. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And take both hands up, but you do what feels good. If one hand needs to be supporting your knee, then please do that. Inhaling and exhaling. Bring your toes back with you as you exhale and use your momentum of your breath. So you need to go slower, go slower. Ooh. Maybe don't go faster just yet. That's it. So imagine you're dragging your hands through water. So try and get a little bit of traction through your hands and keep your spine as long as possible. So as you come back, try not to round here. Try to keep feeling as if your heart center is being opened upwards and outwards. There we go. Now let's just hold this lunge here, rearrange your pelvis. Now press down through that back foot and start to feel the lengthening stretch come up through the front line of the body, lifting right up through the heart center, drop the shoulders. Breathe in again as you draw the rib cage higher away from the pelvis. Drop your shoulders. Good. Little bit of a back bend, waking up the body. And then slide your left hand down towards your left foot and open your right hand up towards the ceiling, gently pressing elbow into knee to stretch here into these inner thigh muscles. Shoulder dropping down the back. Good. So this is just a lovely rinsing out, waking up posture. And then take this top hand and do a big swirl. Swish, like that. Swish and swish. Massaging into those shoulders. And then again, just opening the shoulder, taking it behind you and releasing down. Let's take the right hand towards the left foot now and twist in the other direction. So opening the chest over the knee. And then maybe taking that left hand up towards the ceiling if that feels okay. Otherwise, hand on hip and just opening the shoulder. And then releasing down. Now take your left foot out to the side like a lizard. So I'm just turning it out here and we slide the back foot back as if it's a lizard tail here. Hands either down on the ground, or if you've got a bolster or some bricks, you can put your hands on bricks. And first of all, as you send the crown of your head forward, tuck your toes and see how far you can push your heel back. We're just looking for that long stretch through the quads now, through the front of those thighs. Crown of the head lengthening forward, heel lengthening back, breathing. Shoulders drawing down, so don't let your shoulders be here. Shoulders drawing down, slight bend through the elbows. Smooth breath. And then dropping that knee to the ground. Let's take the top of the foot onto the ground now. Now push through the top of the foot and see if your knee can just slide a tiny bit off the ground. Maybe a bit more if you're feeling more open through those hip flexors. Just working to your comfort level. Beautiful. Dropping that knee, knees together, hips drop one side and then the other. I like this one. So this goes right down into that IT band. Whee. And release. Now open your hands again. I like to imagine there are plates on the ground. And when I come into downward facing dog, I'm kind of spinning those plates outwards. And that gives you the external rotation you want through the shoulders. So tuck toes. Exhale your tail up towards the ceiling. Keep taking it higher and higher and higher and higher, until your spine feels as if you are on the rack. Push down and out with your hands. Externally rotate your shoulders and then start to take your heels down where they go. Now remembering that I've been doing yoga for a long time, so the fact that I can get my heels down doesn't mean that you should necessarily just yet. So this takes a bit of time to open up the hamstrings and the calves. If you're feeling open here, challenge it by taking your feet together, taking all the weight on the left heel, sticking your right foot out behind you. It just gives you a bit of a deeper stretch there. And then swapping feet. If your hamstrings and calves are tighter today, you just want to keep massaging one foot and then the other, like that. Okay, so dropping down onto your knees again, this time the right foot forward. And again, just starting to flow initially, small movements. And then letting those movements become a little bit bigger as you move into the muscles, feeding into the pelvis. And then start to make it a little bit more exaggerated, lifting the hands, pulling the hands back, lifting and drawing back, making sure those toes come back with you so that the hamstrings get a chance to start to warm up. Inhaling and exhaling. And this time pausing here, shoulders away from ears, thumbs back, little fingers forward. And start to press into the back foot so that you can send that line of energy up through the front of the body, right up through the crown of the head, rib cage lifting, pelvis dropping, rib cage lifting, pelvis dropping. Smooth, full, vibrant, victorious breaths here. feeling the prana, the life force running through your body. That's the way. Now slightly pull your femurs back towards your pelvis. Take your right hand down onto the inside of that right leg. Send the left fingers up towards the ceiling and feel the twisting squeeze right here, as well as into the inner thigh area here. Smooth breath and just enjoying this opening twist. And then we're going to close the twist, so the left hand down near the foot and the right hand up towards the ceiling. If that doesn't feel good, hand on hip or just on the pelvis. We're just looking to open this right shoulder, and you feel as if your shoulder blades are kind of squeezing towards each other through the back of the shoulder girdle. Smooth breath. I forgot to do the swirly arm on the other side, didn't I? Never mind. Never mind. Okay, take your hand down. So we want to take that right foot out to the side slightly, and then slide the left foot back until the groin is comfortably open, not too far. Hands down on the ground, or if you've got a bit of height, taking your hands up higher to bring the ground closer to you. Start by tucking your toes, and then very slowly start to press the heel away from you, going into that lengthening stretch through the front of your leg, into those quads. Good. So send the crown of your head forward as the heel goes back. Smooth breathing. Feel as if the shoulder blades are drawing down your back as well. So sometimes this happens, but we want this to happen. It's almost like your head is like a turtle and you're pulling the head out of your turtle shell. And then dropping the knee to the ground, top of the foot on the ground. Let's see what happens when we push the foot into the ground. See if you can lift the knee a little bit off the ground. There we go. Whee! And then down again, knees together and circle again, releasing. So quite often when we get twingy in the lower back, we actually need to open up into the hip flexors and into the quads. If we've been doing a bit of running and they've got over dominant, we sometimes just need to release into the front of the body. Let's just come back into downward dog. So shake those wrists, downward facing dog. This becomes a rest pose. If it feels appropriate for you this morning, take your feet together, take your right foot out behind you, take your foot to your bottom, lift your knee up towards the ceiling, looking underneath the right armpit. Take a big breath in, and then go, ha, breathing out. Toes up towards the ceiling, drop that foot. Do that on the other side. So if this doesn't feel what you want to do this morning, you can drop down onto hands and knees again, coming into child pose. So we lift the knee, lift the hip, looking underneath the armpit, maybe stretching all the way up towards the ceiling, breathing in, side out, good. Now bend the knees and walk your feet forward. And to start off with, take your toes out and just kind of shuffle your bottom down. Imagine your tail is kind of going down towards the ground here, but we don't want to collapse and round the lower back. We need to still keep a bit of integrity through the lumbar curve. Heart is still lifting. Thighs are working hard now. See if you can take your elbows onto the inside of your knees, hands together. If that's too low, take the back of your arms into the inside of the knees and just come up a little bit more. So we want to take a few breaths here as we gently press the elbows out and stretch those inner thigh muscles. Good. And then try putting a bit of pressure of your knees inwards on your elbows to squeeze the inner thigh muscles. Good. And then again, pressing outwards. That's it, releasing them. Now take your hands down again, heel toe your feet so that they become parallel. And if you need to just do a little stretch out with your fingers so your toes get some space between them, please do. So give your toes a nice spread, so we've got a nice big fat base with our feet, hands just above the knees, and then push the crown of your head forward as you lengthen your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Draw the base of the rib cage in for a moment. Hold this position, upside down L shape. Keep breathing. Now imagine you've got an orange between your shoulders and you're kind of squeezing it slightly. So just kind of squeeze that shoulder, those shoulder blades together. Breathing. Breathing. We want to push down and slightly out with our feet as well. So we feel really vibrant and awake with the legs. And then just kind of pump the legs. So let the head go for a moment and then push the legs back straight. Let yourself go down, bending the knees and then straightening the knees, and then kind of get a little bit of a pumping rhythm, pressing down and lifting up, bending. Get some blood pumping through those legs, working up the hamstrings. That's it. Come back into your lengthened position. Rub the back of your legs. And then let your head fold down and give it a shake. Roll your shoulders back. See if you can interlace your hands behind you. If it's not feeling like your shoulders want to do this today, hands on hips instead and elbows together. Otherwise, hands together, and see if you can take the hands up towards the ceiling and then take your whole shoulder girdle up towards the ceiling. So you squeeze those shoulders together and then give your head a shake. And you might find that your tail can be lifted up a little bit more to also get those hamstrings working up as well. If this is going into your lower back and it doesn't feel good, keep your knees bent. Smooth breath here, like you are a waterfall, and any tension in the upper back is just pouring out into Mother Earth. Focusing on the exhale. The pause at the end of the exhale. Lovely. Forward folds. So we're stimulating the pituitary gland here. And then let your hands go. Let yourself be all floppy here. Now we're going to push the floor away. If this makes you dizzy coming up, I want you to do it very, very, very slowly. So push the floor away. We slowly come up. You can always pause here with head at heart for a while. Otherwise, we're going to continue slowly coming up. And then the head comes up last of all. Then we take the hands right up towards the ceiling. Now keep going right up onto your toes. See if you can balance here, looking up towards the ceiling, pressing down through the balls of your feet, shoulders releasing, fingertips pulling upwards. Keep breathing, lifting, and then as you exhale, bend the knees and go down. Now this time, slowly come up, stretching all the way up. Stretching, I'm going to get you to come up on your toes again and just kind of walk around in a circle on your toes. Stretch the whole body and then just land down on your feet. Right up with your fingers, breathing in and then bend the knees and go, And this time when we come up, inflating the body, keep your feet planted on the ground. Turn your body over your left leg and then release. Now let your right elbow pick you up and you push down firmly through your right foot. So you drape your way up and over to the other side. Left elbow picking you up like you're a puppet on strings. All the way up, over to the left again. So it really feels like you're a puppet and you're draping and you're flowing. We're using different muscle fibers of the body. Coming up and then flowing down. Now roll those shoulders. Take your feet a little bit wider on the mat. Take your weight from one foot to the other. Allow your elbows to do that little dance across the center of the body. Moving into the Tai Chi movement, cloudy hands. So elbows lift and roll, and then shoulders lift and roll. Fingertips flowing through space, weight dropping from one foot to the other. And make sure that the weight is especially through the heels of the feet. Feet feel planted. That's the way. And then take the hands and swish them. So now we keep the torso straight, the knees bend and then straighten. And we are swishing right across the body, waking up the central nervous system. Big swishes. That's the way. Good. I had to do a couple of discus throws just because I love this one. Stretch the body, release, stretch the body, release, stretch, inhaling, exhaling, stretch, inhaling, exhaling. Come back, keep your knees bent. Just give yourself a well done tap through the upper back into those oxytocin enriched muscle fibers here. Well done, you. Well done, you. And drop down a little bit deeper. So now we're just sitting here between our knees, heavy through the heels, torso nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, pull the breath underneath the armpits. Exhale out. Big, vibrant breath in, waking up breath in, exhaling. Really tuning into this physicality, this extraordinary body of yours, moving through space, the trillions and trillions of cells that make up this body, that are contained within the skin. See if you can stay in that sense of marvel, of reverence, dropping down and just noticing where this cloak needs a little bit of TLC, where it needs a little bit of attention, lengthening and strengthening as we come up and over. Good. Take the hands down, fingers forward, toes a little bit in, take your tail behind you. Now breathe in as your tail lifts and breathe out as your tail tucks. So we'll get that nice movement of breath flowing through the pelvis again. In and out. So good for not just mobility around the pelvis and that flow of nutrients, getting the lymph really working, but also the pelvic floor muscles. In and out. Now, leave your tail behind you. We're going to swish the tail from side to side. So we really open up the back side of the body, back line of the body, and getting into those hip joints here. Swishing, hands swishing. See if you make the swishing a bit bigger now, starting to go into those inner thigh muscles, those adductor muscles here. They feed right into the pelvic floor. Good. Swishing your fancy tail behind you. Now, keep that swish to the right. Keep your right knee bent, but pull your left toes back towards you. Keep your torso relatively straight here, so you're having to use your back muscles and rub the inside of your leg. Good. Ooh. Give a bit of warmth into those adductor muscles. Very good. And then swish your tail to the other side. Pull back your toes, rubbing the inside of the leg here. So this gets us ready for Trikonasana, triangle pose. This is where we feel the stretch as well as a twist through the upper back. So come back into the center. Start with toes in as you lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then turn your toes over to the right. So we want to make sure that the heel of the front foot is intersecting the arch of the back foot. Just make sure your feet, the foundations of your body, are really firmly planted into your mat. Legs stay straight. Now strengthen out through the fingers. Polish the tail by sending that front hand forward. Pull your back hip back until you feel the stretch through your inner thighs here. Roll the back hip forward slightly like a train wheel. Drop the hand wherever it lands. Stack your left shoulders on top of your right shoulders here. Now you might stay with your hand on your hip, or maybe take the hand up towards the ceiling if that feels good on your shoulder. And then lengthen from crown of the head out through your tail. So feel the spine lengthening. That's going to draw the base of the ribcage slightly in, open up into the hip. And imagine that you're pulling your mat apart between your feet. So imagine you're kind of stretching the mat. Smooth breath. Now I can't remember whether it was this side or the other side that we didn't do the swirl. So we're going to do it on both sides now. Swirl your hand right around, mass out to the shoulder. That's it. And then take the arms slightly back as you drop your front shoulder, your bottom shoulder, slightly in. So you can see I'm getting a deeper twist through the upper body. Keep the back hip rolling forward. Good. And then just drop your head. So no pressure through the head. Drop your head. And then take this top hand, pull it back towards your hip. Now breathe in deeply into this area, these scalings here. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, pull those little fingers away from you. See if you can make your exhale long and low and vibrational. Good. And then looking down, bending to that front knee, just kind of flow yourself up and then swivel your feet to the other side. As we take our arms out, We polish the tail. We roll that back hip forward like a training wheel. We drop the hand wherever it lands, top arm up towards the ceiling. Now try and rotate your hand a little bit so the shoulder also rolls backwards. We open the whole shoulder girdle. There we go. Again, crown of the head lengthening forward, tail lengthening back. Create space in this posture for your breath, and then have a little play with the shoulders, the shoulder movement, the shoulder positioning. Take a big swish with that top arm. Swish and swish and swish. And then again, see if you can get a little bit more movement through the thoracic spine. Oh, that feels so good, rinsing it all out. And then we're going to just drop those fingertips down, drop the head as well, and breathe deeply into this neck area. So from the ear down to the shoulder, and you imagine those muscle fibers are being infused with your breath. And as you exhale, just do a gentle pull out through those middle fingers. Looking down, bending into the front knee and flowing your way back up again. Now turn your toes back over to the right and take a little bit more space between your legs. So a meter and a bit, so about a leg length now. And then dropping down into warrior two. So knee stays directly on top of heel. And again, we want to feel as if we're pulling the mat apart between our feet. Our heels are pressing down into the mat. And make sure this front knee in particular doesn't drop inwards. We're going to keep it drawing back out. Now the torso stays in the middle of our legs, so try not to have it leaning forward or leaning back. For here, we're bang in the middle. Arms out, shoulders are soft, but fingertips are really vibrant. And you look out through your middle fingers and you soften your eye gaze. So soften the little muscles around your eyes and soften your eye gaze so that everything becomes slightly defocused apart from your middle fingertips. And as you exhale, see if you can drop down a tiny bit deeper. And just saying to yourself now, my mind is calm and clear, but my body is strong and relaxed. My mind is calm and clear, but my body is strong and relaxed. Good. Warrior two. See if you can hold this for a couple more breaths. Feeling your legs starting to create heat. Shoulders soft. Now turn the palm of the front hand. Press the heel into the ground as you lengthen the front leg. Come into archer pose for a moment. Pause here. Few deep breaths, opening up the front line of the body. And on your next exhale, folding forward again, this time forearm on thigh. Back arm up and over for Parsvakonasana, side angle. Make sure you don't keep collapsing here. You want to keep a feeling of pulling your femurs, your thigh bones back into your pelvis. So there's a bit of integrity as well as stretch. And if this is your pose for today, stay here. If you want to go deeper, take the fingertips onto the ground and press the elbow back into the knee. So really opening up into these inner thighs. And maybe taking this top arm and taking it behind you and reaching your fingertips either onto your t-shirt or around and onto the thigh here, just kind of wrapping. And that allows you to open up the chest just a little bit more. Make sure you can still breathe smoothly. Good. Now, whichever position you're in, unravel, start to straighten that front leg as you take your fingertips onto the ground. If you've got a brick close by, this is another time you can put your brick underneath your fingertips. Now, turn your toes inwards, so big toes facing inwards, as if they're facing the top of a triangle, and then take your fingertips towards the top of that triangle, but take your tail back. Now, the knees can stay as bent as possible, as you need, sorry, but we want to push down and out with our feet to keep a vibrancy, to keep a lift through these inner arches. So tail is being pulled back. Imagine someone's got your tail and they're kind of pulling it a little bit more. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Keep lifting that tail, pressing down and out with the feet. And sending the prana, the life force with your breath, down your spine, down your legs, back up your legs, back down your spine, down your arms, back up again. So you're swirling with your mind's eye, this prana, this life force right around your body, energizing your body. That's it. Good. And then just walking those hands underneath your chest. Pause here. So you're in a tabletop. Again, if you've got handy bricks, you might be a little bit higher here. And then I'm going to get you to fold yourself down. So we're coming into another forward fold here. Head coming down towards the ground, possibly. Now, your elbows stay in. So it's like you're looking through the window of a house. So your elbows come in and they bend, and you kind of look between your elbows. If you're comfortable here and you want to take it further, try taking your fingertips down to your toes. So you kind of hook them around your big toes. So if this isn't comfortable, we stay higher. But if it feels good, we can always come deeper. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows a bit wider now for that window. And you're pressing down and out with your feet. Good. You keep hiking your sitting bones higher and higher. That's the way. And then come back with your hands on to the mat underneath you. Turn your left foot out. You might need to turn your right foot in a little bit more. So let's come into side angle on this side. So forearm onto thigh, pull the femur back into its socket. So you're not kind of collapsing here. And we're either coming into the position here, or if once we're here, we could go deeper, slide the fingertips down towards the ground, press the elbow back into the knee, and then maybe even taking that top arm and wrapping again, if that feels what your body is wanting this morning. So go to where the body feels comfortable, just to the edge. See if your breath is still long and smooth. If it is, then maybe take it a little bit deeper. That's the way. Little toe edge of your back foot is pressing into the ground. And whichever position you're in, come back to forearms on thigh. Come back to arm above the head. We're going to push the floor away firmly. So push it away, using those thigh muscles. Come up into archer. And then back down into warrior two. Shoulders relaxed. Feet pushing down and out. Strong with those legs. We want to create heat through the body now. That tapas. Energy through the body. Shoulders relaxed, but fingertips alive. And again, letting all those little muscles around the eyes soften. Mind calm and clear. Body is strong, but relaxed. And then slowly taking those hands down. Take your feet forward, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, until they're parallel. Make sure your toes stay wide though. And then arms out in front, take all the weight into the heels and just drop yourself into chair pose, Utkatasana. So toes are on the ground, but they're quite light. About 20% of your weight is in your toes in the front of your foot and about 80% in your heels. Shoulders are away from ears, so you're not like that. And you're working pretty hard sitting here through the core, through the extensor muscles of the back. Okay, so we're going to push the floor away and come up on an exhale. As you do so, see if you can kind of gather a little bit through the pelvic floor, as if you're stopping yourself passing wind. It's that kind of lifting up, and then we relax as we start to come down again. So exhale, that's going to help activate your glutes as well, and drop down. Exhale up and inhale down. Exhale to push the floor away. Now focus on your feet for a moment. As you come up, push the floor away. So you're not just locking your knees. The action is very much through the hamstrings, through the gluteal muscles. I like to imagine I have nails at the bottom of my heels, and I'm driving those nails into the ground as I come up, trying to push those nails into the ground. Whew. That's it. Whew. Just wonderful overall strengthening, toning with these squats. Whew. And let's take this next few slowly. So come down, pause, and then very slowly, half speed, slowly coming up, and then dropping down again. Slowly pushing the floor away, dropping down, quarter speed, like a lift, going up. Drop your pelvic floor, come down, quarter speed. Down, roll those shoulders, give your shoulders a little swirly swirl. Come onto your left leg, squeeze the thigh muscles into your left leg and come onto your right toes. And then do the adduction. So you're drawing the leg inwards, inwards from the hip, inwards, inwards, just to release it. And then see if you can get your arms in there too, doing a little Elvis twist. So release the hips and get some nice flexibility through that midsection. Do that on the other side. Weight into the right leg, adducting, adducting, and swirling and grooving. And your little Elvis twist. Good. Whew. Okay, so getting tall against the wall, and we'll need our brick. So grabbing your brick, or if you've got a big dictionary or something else, that's absolutely fine. If you don't have anything, don't worry, you can still do this just on the ground. So don't worry if you haven't got all the equipment. Let's just start off with our body against the wall. We want to have about an inch with between the wall and our heels, so there's space for our behind. What we're trying to do is get imprinted into the body this ability to stack the skeleton and stack the muscles so that our deep core muscles activate automatically, and so that we feel nice and tall and vibrant. It really affects how we think and how we feel, how we hold ourselves. So if we've got our shoulders rolling forward and we're collapsed through the chest and our pelvis is pushed forward and our head is jutting forward and our toes are going out, then this is not sending a very good signal to our brain that we are in a good state. And similarly, if we're lifted up too much and our head is lifted up and our bum is behind us and our chest is stretched, then we're telling our body and our brain that we're constantly on, and we're likely to get IBS and adrenal burnout. So what we're wanting is just really nice stacked alignment where everything feels functional, where it feels like we just, we can just stand there for a long time. So that's what this getting tall against the wall is aiming to do, to help us do, get into good alignment. So our middle toes need to face forward, and I want you to stretch your toes out again. So lift them, stretch them out, plonk them down. Try and make your feet as hobbit-like as possible. So nice big fat hobbit-like feet is what we are looking for. And then push down and slightly out so the inner arches aren't collapsing down. They feel as if there's a vibrancy lifting them. And you might feel a sensation up through the inner thighs towards the pelvic floor as we lift those inner arches. Now push your bottom back into the wall. So there's contact where the sacrum is here. I'm going to get you to imagine your tail is going straight through the wall. Where the sacrum is, that's pushing into the wall. Pushing down and out with the feet. Knees stay slightly soft, so be very wary if you habitually lock into the back of the knees. So keep the knees slightly soft here. Now press your shoulders into the wall. Your bottom's going to want to pop out, but keep it pushing back as well. And then chin in and find the wall with the ridge of the back of your head as well. So we've got the head here, we've got the shoulders pushing in, we've got the bum pushing in, knees stay soft, pressing down and out with your feet. And then roll one shoulder and then the other shoulder, and palms forward, push the back of the hands into the wall and the forearms and the chest again, right here in the heart center, pushing back. I like to imagine if you've got that orange between your shoulders, you're squashing the orange into the wall. Now your pelvis is going to want to pop up, but don't let it. Draw the pelvis back. Hopefully you're feeling this area here at the base of the rib cage kind of sucking back towards your spine. That's what we're looking for. Pushing back with your bum, down and out with your feet. Soften the knees, back with your bum quite firmly. Back here, back between the shoulders, squash the orange. Back with your arms quite firmly, shoulders are back and up with your head. So you slide the head up slightly, stretching the back of the neck, down and out with your feet, soften the knees, back with your bum, back with your arms, back between your shoulders, back and up with the head, pressure back. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. We're holding the breath, so we're putting the breath here underneath the armpits. And again, down, back, up, down, back, up, back, 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 down, back, up. And then just soften off the wall. And initially you feel like Frankenstein. So you need to unwind those shoulders, unwind the head. And then once you've unwound, stack your head back on top of your neck. Let your shoulders be nice and relaxed. Now just imagine you have a string attached to that ridge that we're pushing into the wall and a string attached to the crown of the head, and they're drawing you up towards the ceiling. And then the body's just kind of hanging off those strings. So we want to feel like everything just, it's like a skeleton just dropping off some strings holding you up. Everything's just aligned. And if you did have a big heavy pot of water or food on top of your head, the weight of it would just be going straight down through your skeleton and down into the ground. All right, let's see if we can challenge our balance and challenge our core when we're in this position. So come forward for a moment and just take that right foot back behind you. Keep long through the core, arms out to the side, and start off just by tapping up and down with that back foot. So we wake up gluteus maximus and gluteus medius at the top of our bottom. So we're looking for this bit here to kind of pop up a little bit in our hand. These are the muscles that propel us forward when we're walking and we're running, or should do. That's what we're aiming for. That's it. And then pause here again. Open up your crocodile jaws. As we close them and we lift our knee up, imagine your tummy button is drawing upwards. So exhaling, tummy button coming upwards underneath those rib cages. So exhaling, core switching on, inhaling to open. Try to keep your torso immobile. So you've got that string pulling you up through the crown of the head, and you're exhaling to close, inhaling to open. This is fabulous for the cross patterning to make both hemispheres of the brain operate well and talk to each other. And that's it. Good for strengthening the standing leg, strengthening the bones, help those bones to rejuvenate, regenerate, nice and strong. Whew. Of course, it's great for our core. So you can keep going, another few, exhaling. Exhaling. Now pause here, arms out to the side, shoulders relaxed. Stick your foot in front of you for a moment and then drop the foot and give yourself a little Elvis twist to release your standing leg. Whew, good. Other leg. So all of these muscles are switched on, especially just above your knee. So a lot of us who do some running, our patella starts to drift off because these leg muscles aren't strong enough. So squeeze thigh muscles in, regenerate those bones, crown of the head lifting, arms out to the side for balance. Just give those toes a tap up and down, working through the gluteal muscles. Switching on and switching on and switching on. Pause, stretch those fingertips up and back. Exhale, snap. Inhale, open. Exhale, snap. Inhale, drift open. And close. Focus on core. Don't look at me because I'm losing my balance. Good. So your eye gaze again, let it be nice and defocused. And strong and vibrant. And squeeze. I can't remember how many did on the other side. So the last one here. And then arms out to the side and stick your foot out. Crown of the head is lifted. Don't let yourself collapse. And down. And give yourself a little release. Whew. Very good. Alrighty, let's just come against your bit of wall again. So it's not too far away. You can hold on to it. Or if you wanted to just imprint yourself again and then step away from it. So we've got that wonderful alignment. We're going to lift the knee up. Now, often when we lift the leg, we want to start to lean forward. So try to not do that. Try to keep the crown lifted, core switched on, and you're just getting mobility through this pelvis area to lift the leg up. Okay, so we're either staying here, maybe balancing with knee into chest, if that feels enough for you today, or I'm going to get you to hook your fingers around your big toe and hand on hip or fingers on the wall for balance, and then start to push your heel away from you, pausing as soon as you need to round your back. So keep pushing the heel away, pause, and then see if you can go a little bit further, pause, and just keep slowly lengthening. You're going to need to bring your shoulder back into the shoulder socket. Keep breathing here. That's it. See if you can push through the heel to get the length. Imagine there's a magnet through the back of your body sucking you towards that wall so you don't round. And then slowly coming down. So you can keep that length through the crown of your head. Change the weight into the other leg. Draw the knee into the chest. So we're holding this lengthening balance for a moment. Maybe taking fingers around big toe. Maybe holding onto the wall or hand on hip. And then just start to slowly press the heel away. Focus on pressing the heel away and keep imagining that magnet through the whole of the back of your body. Straight body against the wall. And then moving to where you get that hamstring stretch. You need to stay with your breath, anchoring through your breath. Core drawing in and up. Core drawing in and up. That's going to help you to get more length through the hamstrings. Bottom sticking back into the wall. And slowly coming down. And take your hands on your hips. Swirl your pelvis around. Releasing swirls, just like when we're on all fours. These swirls through the hips. Hula hooping the hips is just wonderful for getting that good vascular flow through the pelvis, getting the lymphs to really do their thing. Send the nutrients around the body. That's the way. Cleansing and releasing. Okay, so let's take our bricks and we're working on the stabilizing muscles of the pelvis now. So taking your left foot onto the brick. Doesn't really matter about your toes, but we want to have the heels firmly on the brick. Now see if you can come up so you're standing and have your feet parallel. So you're balancing here for a moment. Have your feet parallel. Now we're going to use this kind of movement through the pelvis like a seesaw. So with the crown of the head being pulled up towards the ceiling with that handy string that we've got, arms out to the side, start to actually do whatever you need to with your hands. We want to drop the foot down towards the ground so that the left hip hikes up, and then we push the left heel into the ground so that the right hip comes up, and then we release down and we push the heel into the brick. So the work is all being done by that left heel pushing into the brick, and the right hip just goes like a fulcrum coming up. That's it. So we're stabilizing through this left side of the pelvis. Whew. Good, keep breathing. Keep feeling tall through the crown. That's it. Wonderful, just subtle work, but oh my goodness, you're gonna feel this eventually if you're not feeling it already. That's it. See if you can go to your maximum and then just do one or two more. There we go, and then just give that standing leg a shake. And stand with your right heel onto the brick. Crown of the head is lifted. And same thing, start off with your legs even, and then you drop your left leg, and then you push the right heel down. So again, we're getting that kind of lift through that left hip via the pressure through that right heel. And there we go. And again, so you can keep going. A few more. That's it. Push. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And let that brick just go down to the side. Give your hips a big swirl. We need to open up into those hip flexors now just to release the body. So turn yourself around on your mat, taking your left foot forward, your right foot back. High lunge, crown of the head is lifted, shoulders are dropping, rib cage slightly dropping in, so try not to flare too much just yet. Drawing in with the rib cage. Now push out through the back heel till you feel the stretch in through those hip flexors and those quads. Arms maybe up, fingers forward, thumbs back. Deep breath in. Now we're going to slowly transition into warrior 3. So taking your weight forward, pause here. Thigh muscles sucking to thigh bone, And then see if you can lift up through the back heel. You need to push down through that standing leg heel. Keep pushing down through the heel, activating the back line of the leg. Breathing here, and as soon as your body says that is enough, drop back into high lunge. Come up into the center. Hello. And then swirl around to the other side so that we're in a high lunge on this side. So first of all, we're looking at opening up those hip flexors, the quads, dropping down. Victorious breath here. Vibrant breath. Okay, then slowly transitioning forward. So pause here with toes on the ground, and then slowly press the heel into the ground to straighten your standing leg as you send your back heel back behind you. Breathing either arms out in front or out to the side. Keep that breath going. And as soon as the body says that's enough, dropping back into high lunge. Good, and then sending those hands down towards to frame your front foot, sending them down towards the ground. Slide your back foot down towards the back foot, front foot to back foot, sorry, and just settle into downward facing dog. Give your head a shake, and then maybe massage those knees across the midline of the body, releasing into those hips. Smooth, smooth breath. That's it. And then dropping onto your knees, sending your bottom down towards your heels. Forehead on the ground. So either hands out in front of you or stacking fists if forehead doesn't reach the ground comfortably. Or if you're comfortable here, try taking the hands down behind you. So palms up, shoulders releasing. And just settle for a few breaths in child pose. Let your belly be soft. Let the breath spread into the back of the lungs. And just bringing the heart rate down. Every time you exhale now, see if you can unwind your lower jaw away from the upper jaw. See if you can create a real heaviness through that lower jaw, a heaviness through the underside of the tongue. Yeah. If you've got the pressure through the forehead, it just helps to calm the mind. I like to imagine that the forehead is opened up and any thoughts that are pulling you out of this present moment, they're just kind of flowing out of your mind and into the ground. So imagining a clear stream is just flowing through your brain, clearing your mind, and allowing yourself to drop into the real presence of your breath and the body. Taking the hands underneath your shoulders and looking up between your hands, just sliding down like a caterpillar onto your tummy. So thumb up, sliding down onto your belly like so. There we go. Tops of the feet pressing into the ground, elbows in like crickets, and then breathing in to lift the chest, breathing out to release. So first of all, we're wanting just to feel like the body is being inflated by each breath, and we're working just on the little muscles around the spine. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, and then hold it here for a moment, chin tucking in, and see if you can slide your forearms forward into Sphinx pose. And now we're pulling our forearms back towards us as the chest goes forward, shoulders back. Draw the chin in, so you really are like the Sphinx. Tops of the feet on the ground, knees slightly off the ground, just a tiny, tiny millimeter, little tiny gap underneath your knees. Bum remains inactive though, you're not squeezing the bum here. Good, and if you need to be lower, just working with what is feeling good in your body here. That's it. Now let's take those forearms a little bit further away from each other. Drop one shoulder, look over the other shoulder. Stretch the inside of those shoulders, and then the other side, dropping the shoulder. So we're getting that really nice releasing twist through the upper back, through those shoulders. Keep going with that. There we are. Rolling down. Now take the hands behind you. Stretch them towards your toes. As you inhale, take toes and fingers up and then pull them back and crown of the head is rocketing forward. Squeeze the back line of the body. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lift and then go ha and drop down and be as floppy and jellyfish-like as you possibly can, as if all your bones have left the building. Really floppy. Good. But we're going to do that one more time. So roll the shoulders back, stretch your fingertips back. As you inhale, draw your toes and fingers off the ground, rocket them back towards the wall behind you, crown the head rocketing forward, squeezing, squeezing and lifting a bit more, holding, 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 holding. Breathe in again and then go. Turn your head to the other side. And this time rock your pelvis from side to side so you're really nice and floppy. Good. Now take the right hand underneath the forehead, tuck the chin in, roll the left shoulder back, grab hold of your left ankle, flex the foot, gently start to press the pelvis down into the ground. So pubic bone down into the ground. It's like you're spreading the bikini line into the ground. And then see if your knee can feel like it's sliding along the ground away from your pelvis. And this is quite a strong stretch through those quads. Again, this is a good one for releasing tweakiness in the lower back. Let's add to it that Brahmahari breath, that buzzy bee breath, just to calm the central nervous down. So just taking a deep breath in and then a buzzy bee breath out. I get a bit competitive with how long I can do my buzzy bee breath out. Okay, so just dropping that side, taking the other shoulder back and then holding onto the ankle. Start to press the pubic bone down gently at first and then a little bit more, and then see if you can go deeper into the stretch as you do your buzzy bee breath. So let's breathe in. Very good, just dropping that foot. Now we're going to roll over onto our backs. If you happen to have your strap nearby, brilliant. I don't, I'm just going to crawl over to get my strap. If you don't have a strap, please don't worry. You can do this without your strap. So we're just going to roll onto our backs here. And I'm going to come a little bit closer to you guys. Okay, so start off, before we use our strap, start off with your feet wide on your mat. I just want to get us into our bums and our pelvic floors one more time before we finish the practice. So hands down beside you, feet wide on your mat. We're going to push the floor away with the heels. That activates the glutes. Glide the pelvis upwards and then squeeze your knees and your thighs together. So we're working deep into the pelvic bowl here. Release them, roll back down, release your bum. Exhale to come up, squeeze your knees together, release them, roll back down, relax your bum. So doing that up, squeeze, release, roll down. And then see if you can extend the exhale and do squeeze, 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 and then release and roll back down. So we're exhaling to come up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the knees, release the knees, roll back down, relax the bum. Exhaling out, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the knees, release the knees, roll back down, relax. Lifting up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the knees, rolling down and release. Take those feet directly underneath your knees now. Push the heels into the ground, slowly roll up your spine, all the way up towards your shoulders. Draw your shoulders underneath your body. Now either stay with your hands pressing down, or if you can reach, interlace the hands together and push the hands and the forearms into the ground, and then send those knees away from you. So you're sliding your knees, similar feeling when we're on our tummy, and we're just stretching the front line of the body. Take some big breaths in here. And then take the hands away and slowly spread your shoulders as you roll down, releasing the back onto the ground. Take your right ankle on top of your left ankle. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Rub the outside of your leg, rub into your bum. We want to get a deep stretch into the right glute here. That's it. If you take your thumb onto that acupressure point just below the ball of your foot, that also just helps to calm the nervous system. So you can just massage into that acupressure point as you press that left knee a little bit deeper in towards your chest. Stretching those glutes and then just swapping sides. So left ankle on top of right ankle, drawing that right knee in, the left knee drops out. And as you get into that big stretch here, maybe pressing thumb into the left foot now. That acupressure point, quite a nice firm rotation. Just take another couple of breaths, deepening into the stretch. That's the way. Leave that left knee up by your chest. Stretch the right side of the body, lengthening. And then swap sides, lengthening. And then grab your strap if you've got it and just place it around that right foot. So we're pressing the heel of the foot away from us and then we're pushing the right part of the pelvis down into the ground. So pressing the heel away, pressing the right side of the pelvis down. So just like when we're against the wall, we are looking to get the pelvis pushing back and looking to have that nice elongated spine. See if you can also stretch that left leg down as well. And maybe even taking the arm above the head. Smooth breath. That's the way. And then just swapping sides, left foot into the strap, press the heel away, press the back of the pelvis down, press the heel away. So it doesn't matter if you're here at all, but we're looking to try and stretch the heel away from us as much as possible, rather than maybe being here and rounded through the lower back. Pushing the back of the pelvis into the wall, pushing the heel away. Back of the pelvis into the ground, sorry, not the wall, then away with the heel, and maybe stretching out through the right side of the body as well. Okay, let's just take both feet into the strap now. Slide those feet away from each other. Really lengthen until the inner thighs go, yeah, that's enough. Pressing the heels away from you, then start to bend the knees down towards your armpits. So supported baby pose. You can always do baby pose without the strap if you don't have one. Just holding onto your ankles or maybe the inside of your feet. And if you're here, it's quite nice just to pull on one side of your strap and then the other and massage across the lower back. And we want to take our breath kind of down into the lower belly and around the pelvis. It's called 360 breathing, where you feel like you are allowing both the inhale and the exhale to circle around the pelvis from the belly button downwards. So we're not pushing, we're just kind of releasing and allowing and softening everything now. Slide the feet together, knees out to the side. Just give yourself a little release through those inner thighs now. That's it. And then take your strap out of the way. Feet, whoops, knees into the chest and dropping over to one side. Rinse the spine. So look out over the right shoulder as your knees come to the left. Take 3 releasing breaths here. Sigh the exhales out. See if you can get your shoulders to melt into the ground. And then up and over to the other side. And again, feeling that lovely rinse out through the spine. Feeling the upper back melting into the ground. Beautiful. Now, if you have got the props around, I thought it would be nice to do Supta Baddha Konasana for our relaxation. So we want to support both the knees and the back. Now, I'm going to use 2 bolsters here. Use as many bolsters or pillows as you have got. Your bottom goes onto the ground, or if you're on your bed, onto your bed. It's nice to have the head slightly lifted above the heart. So I'm going to put a blanket underneath my head. Some of you might have extra pillows that you could put underneath the one that's along your spine. So this one needs to be vertical. And like I said, it can just be a pillow. It doesn't need to be a bolster. But you might put another couple of pillows underneath so it's more on a slope like so. And then you just have something underneath your knees so your knees can drop out to the side. And as you lie back with your spine going along your prop, you kind of drop your knees out and it feels like you're at the beauty salon. It's that kind of feeling. Now your head does need to be propped a bit more so it's not choking back like that. Your chin can stick inwards. And make sure you're comfortable. So this feels good on me, but if your back is a bit stiffer, you might need to be on a vertical slope. So you might need to take this bottom pillow and take it up a bit by putting other things underneath. And then you want to have your palms up, arms out to the side. Might even feel nice to have your arms right up like that to stretch those pectoral muscles and let those knees flop out and let those feet flop out. And once you've got yourself settled there in that reclining goddess pose, take 3 changing breaths. So inhaling through the nostrils and sighing out through the mouth, and just kind of drape and soften and release. So this is the part of the practice where you integrate, your cells integrate all of the strengthening and releasing, so that next time you come to your mat, the body remembers and everything flows just that little bit more easily. So really adjusting the body so you're ultra comfortable. And then take a deep breath in, a conscious breath in, and hold the top of the breath. And then just go, ah, and feel like all your cares are just flowing out. And just imagine that you are standing underneath a beautiful waterfall, and this clear, crystal, beautiful water is pummeling down on the crown of your head. And just imagine you can feel the relaxing heaviness of the water pummeling onto the crown of your head, and feel as if that relaxation is starting to flow down through the skull, so that the mind softens even more, and so that all the muscles around your face soften, especially around the eyes and around the cheeks. And you feel your lower jaw is really softening now, and then that relaxation is pummeling and massaging down the neck and through the chest and the upper back, encouraging all the muscles of the upper back to melt like wax into your props, and feeling that massaging effect of relaxation flowing down your arms, down through the forearms and wrists and into the hands, so that your hands feel alive with vibration, with sensation, down into the fingertips. And then keeping the awareness of your hands, feeling that relaxation flowing down now through the front and the back of your torso, flowing relaxation, and allowing that awareness to swirl around the pelvis, around the pelvic organs, around the muscles of the hips, swirling and releasing the pelvis, melting into your props, and then running this mind and this relaxation down through your legs, feeling a heaviness now through your legs, a release, a letting go as your awareness floats down through your ankles, through the soles of the feet and the tops of the feet and around the toes, massaging, awareness releasing any residual tension, taking the mind up and down the body, flowing with each breath, ebbing and flowing, mind and body as one with the breath, that yoking together, feeling the prana, the life force just underneath the skin surface of the
whole of your body. The whole of your body. Breathing a little bit more deeply now. And imagine that you are spreading that energy of love and relaxation through any parts of the body that are still feeling congested, flowing and swirling and massaging and releasing. Bring your awareness to the whole of your body, every part of your body. And as you bring the awareness to the whole of the body, mentally saying to your body, I want to know you more, and I want to love you more, and I'm ready to listen. I'm doing my best to listen. It's okay if it takes time. Thank you, body. You are a masterpiece. And I know you love me and you are always protecting me. And I know you know how to heal. Is there anything you want me to know right now? And really listen and feel into this remarkable instrument of life, this cloak that you are wearing through this lifetime. And as you feel into every one of those trillions and trillions of cells, mentally saying to your body, thank you, thank you, thank you. And just sitting in the resonance, the vibration of this feeling of gratitude. And then becoming aware again of the room around you, just mentally thinking about the room around you, walls and the ceilings, and the carpet, visualizing your body lying on the props. Start to feel into the sensations of the air against any exposed skin. And then taking your attention to the very tip of your nostrils, and just becoming exquisitely aware of the coolness of each breath in and the warmth of each breath out. This exchange of breath with the world around you. Your body part of the world around you. And start to deepen and lengthen the breath, feeling your body becoming lighter, more expanded as you breathe deeply, connecting with and nourishing that stillness deep inside of you, and feeling your body releasing and opening up to the world around you. Again, feeling into fingers and toes, to the vibration at the very tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. And then just gently wriggle them. And then gently start to move the head from side to side, just watching the body move, fluid movement. And then as you breathe more deeply, just start to move a little bit more fluidly. And when you're ready, taking the hands underneath the knees and slowly letting those knees come together. Slowly and fluidly, starting to move so that you come to a seated position, making the movement very, very slow, very fluid. That's it. And then see if you can stack your vertebra again, coming into that perfectly aligned position where your head is sitting sweetly on top of your neck. And your chest feels open, your back feels strong, your jaw and your eyes are nice and soft. And just taking the hands out to the side and turning the palms to face the ceiling. Taking a deep breath in, lifting energy right up. Lift your eyebrows and then just go, And again, a deep, vibrant breath in, lifting the fingertips up, and then go, ah. And last one, full invigorating breath. Hold the top of the breath and then just go, ah. Very good. Roll those shoulders. Take the hands into the heart center. Just acknowledge yourself for coming and practicing and moving into your stillness, and just recognizing that love and light in you. When you're in that place in you and I'm in that place in me, we are one. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.